Hey everybody, Logan here. Gonna have a little fun with some Magic because it's Final Fantasy. Now, I do want to unbox this on camera. I will say I did kind of get a little antsy, jump the gun. I opened this in the car, but I'll show you what I pulled. Actually, I didn't open this in the car. I opened this at the store. So I want to show you what I picked up in this one real quick. So what I've learned is everything in this Magic set, even though it's Universes Beyond, can be played in Standard if it has this symbol, which is just the Final Fantasy symbol, and if it has the Chocobo symbol, it can only be played in Commander. So there you go. But these are, for the most part, Standard legal, and even the next set, Spider-Man, will be Standard legal. So Magic is kind of losing its identity. The guy at the store kind of said, hey, look, it's, well, a lot of people are saying it's like Fortnite now, and I'm like, oh, he's not wrong. But let's take a look. Zack Fair, that's from Final Fantasy VII. So another thing is it has the actual game that it's from right there at the bottom, so I think that's pretty cool. We got Zidane. So this was a collector's booster, which means it was significantly more expensive because everything is either full art or foil or a special version of the card. So the only mana, the only land that came in there was a swamp. And of course, I mainly play green and white and sometimes red for some aggro depending on what the set is. Or like, I love dragons and I love burn, but I'm mainly green and white. So if you guys know Magic, you understand why they work so well together. I usually play mono, but mono green's my big one. Then mono white, I like angels. Mono green stompy, and then dragons, but I'll mix red green dragon aggro or white and green, but it usually depends. If you know the mechanics of the Celestia, you get it. But I'm rambling on too much about the game. Let's continue looking. Gilgamesh, Sphere Grid. I heard this one was pretty decent. Now I heard this one, the gentleman was telling me this is a rather good card. These crystals are actually very good. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Got Ultima Origin of Oblivion, and that is from, what, 16? This is my favorite one. White Rose Rebellion. It's actually counterspell. So no, this isn't standard legal, but you can use this in Commander and other formats. So that's pretty cool. I love the artwork. Now, one thing I noticed, it doesn't have the foil. Some of them do not have the foil emblem down there, even though they have the emblem. Now the emblems down here tell you whether or not they're standard legal or what format, from my understanding. Not 100% sure on the changes for that, but I know older sets, it did mean that. So I really have to look into why some are foil and why some aren't. Because if you look at them, all the rares are foil, and then the uncommons and the commons aren't, but then why are they there? I need to look into that. And some of them used to be round. Now they're triangles. And I think that might have to do with the Universes Beyond. Again, going off on a tangent, but hey. So this one's pretty cool. But I've never played enough of Final Fantasy XIV to know who the character is. But it's a beautiful foiling. And it's got the foiling. If you guys ever played the Final Fantasy card game, it had foiling like this. So I think that's pretty nifty. That's a cool hero token, and then you got Robot Warrior on the back. Ignis, Quistis Trepi. Now that's from my favorite Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy VIII. Of course, Blue Magic, I like that. Orin's Inspiration, that's from Final Fantasy X. Magitech Infantry, that is from what, 15? Undercity Dire Rat, and then Rook Turret. That's a bit different on the foiling. The camera can't pick it up, but that's an interesting foiling technique. I think all of them have used that. That's pretty cool. So that is what I got in the collector's booster. So I haven't looked up any values, so I don't know exactly how much these are worth. But from what I was told, a lot of these cards are worth quite a bit, especially when a collector's booster I've seen can go up to $60, and it's a regular collector's booster box normally is around $250, maybe $300, depending on where you're buying it. These have been going for as much as $600. Insane. But that's because people who aren't necessarily Magic fans are now buying it because it's Final Fantasy, and also the ones who like to gouge, like they're doing with Pokemon right now, are doing the same thing because of the value of these cards. So let's open this. Now, this is probably the easiest of all of them to get, the starter the starter kit, and I was happy to get that. It is Cloud versus Sephiroth. The Sephiroth deck is blue and black, and the Cloud is red and white. So I'm assuming it's a little more control versus aggro, but we'll see. It does come with 2 boxes, one being Sephiroth, one being Cloud, and this is from the remake series. Of course, that's the artwork they're choosing, but that's so be it, you know. And with it coming out on Xbox and Switch 2, it's more than appropriate. Let us save the Cloud for last because he's a good guy. Gotta save the good guys. Good guys best. So you got Sephiroth, Planet's Heir. Oh, and you got Planet's Champion. Okay, that's cool. Vigilance, sorry. When Sephiroth enters creatures your opponents control, get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Sephiroth. Oof, that's pretty nasty, especially if you're using a board wipe or, you know, just something that gives all creatures -1/-1. And if they're using a token deck, Sephiroth can get nasty real quick. So, all right, let's open this up. Come on. So I'm already seeing Merfolk back here. Now, what came in here? Okay, so you got... Oh, you can unlock both in Arena, and I play Arena quite a bit using the code right there, and the 2 deck boxes and the guide. All right, so let's take a look. And all of them are from Final Fantasy, because you've got them down there. Retrieve the Esper. Dreams of Laguna. Oh, that's pretty cool. Realms Sketching. Ultimecia, Temporal Threat. I always thought that was Ultimecia, but later on, you know, once I heard her name said, it was Ultimecia. But I was like, I still say Ultimecia, but I have to correct myself. So that's pretty cool. The rats again. Shinra Reinforcements. Now these decks can actually be played. Sephiroth's Intervention. Destroyed target creature, you gain 2 life. As an instant speed, that's... If it was 1 less, if it was a 3-drop, that'd be a vicious card. But I think putting out a 4-drop is definitely a more balanced, because Magic has gotten to the point where the power creep is ridiculous and it's overly powerful for just no apparent reason. Shambling Seath, right? And that's from what, 13? Albed Scavengers. Overkill. Target creature gets -0, -999. That is an awesome card. That is a freaking awesome card. They only give you what, 2? Okay. Evil Reawakened. Seymour Flux. That just sounds hilarious. That sounds like something Bart Simpson would call Seymour Flux. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on Seymour Flux. That doesn't sound too good until late game, but that can get pretty rough depending on what you're equipping him with, or, you know, what he's out there with. Just getting big, you can just go, all right, I'm at 20, my opponent's at 5, I'm just going to hit him and force it through. And if you've got something that can either give it flying or trample or double strike, man, you've got some nasty stuff going on there. Deadly Embrace. Oh, that's some cool artwork. Okay. Oh, full art lands. Nice. And of course, there's no green in this starter deck. It's 4 out of the 5 colors, and I mainly play green, but Yeah, there we go. And I'm keeping the code sealed because it doesn't matter. You guys aren't going to see it. By the time you see it, I'm going to have it redeemed. There we go. Now let's take a look at Cloud real quick. So it says Cloud Planet's Champion. During your turn, as long as Cloud is equipped, well, shouldn't say he. Okay. It has double strike and indestructible. Equip abilities you activate that target Cloud cost 2 less to activate. Equip is a 2 cost. So there are cards out there in general that can cost more to equip, but the average equip cost back in the day was always 2. So if you're using this in Commander, yeah, but equip is usually a 2 cost. So that's pretty good. So a lot of things can be free to equip. Now we got Cloud Bound Moogle. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That will actually go well with that. What is this one from? Final Fantasy IV? Fate of the Suncrest? Slash of Light. That's just great art. It's a FF1. White Auracite? White Mage Staff? Wow, White Mage's Staff. Job select. Oh, I heard about that ability. Okay. See, now you got Equip 3. So, if I'm not mistaken, I would say it's probably more than 10 years that they've made the Equip cost more. But I remember back when artifacts first came out with Equip, it's like everything was a 2-drop. And I just don't use artifacts too much, so it's probably, I could be way off, but I'm not a big artifact user unless it's a world effect ability. Meaning an equipment like this will affect one character, but an artifact can affect the entire board, and those are the ones that I normally use. One that doesn't target a character. Albert Steiner from 9. That's cool. Lifelink Albert Steiner gets +1/+1 for each equipment you control. Oh, so that's the type of deck this is. That makes sense with him. Dragoon's Lance. Rosa Resolute White Mage. That is from Final Fantasy IV. Beatrix Loyal General. That's from 9. Item Shopkeep. Final Fantasy III. I was like, I don't recognize that character. Warrior Sword. From Final Fantasy 1. Okay, the generic character, that's why I don't. Some of these characters I do not recognize because, well, then I also haven't played every single one. Suplex? 1 Suplex. Choose 1. Suplex deals 3 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile instead. Exile target artifact. That's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. That's why they only give you 1. Samurai's Katana. Barrett Wallace. Ugh. That is so cool. That is really cool. Lightning Security Sergeant. Judgment Bolt. Ultima Weapon. That is nifty. Whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy target creature and opponent controls. Equipped creature gets +7/+7. Ooh, there's your equip cost. 7. Yeah, so it's probably been, I don't know, a decade or more. Oh, 7th Heaven. Oh, let's get to... Okay. Whew. Beautiful. Oh, and we got the hero token. There we go. Okay. So, there you go. There's the starter deck for Final Fantasy MTG. And, well, I'm a little sad that I wasn't able to get a bit more. But I wasn't able to get to the card shop this past weekend when they had the pre-release, and the only time I was able to go is, well, a Sunday night, and that's when I'm filming this, right after I got back from the card shop, and, well, that's all I was able to get. So I'll keep an eye out. Maybe I'll do some more. Hey, if you guys like this, maybe I'll do some quick videos like this and just throw them up. Well, I guess this wasn't a quick video. It's almost 15 minutes long. I rambled on too much about Magic instead of you were just like, I don't care. I want to see the cards. I want to see the cards. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video. Yeah, God bless each and every one of you. And if you haven't picked up any magic, don't get into it. Just watch the videos. Thank you guys again. Hit that subscribe button. Again, God bless you all. Like what I always say, be legendary. Thanks again.